coverage you can count on at 6 starts now.
First at 6, continuing coverage on the murder and human trafficking case of an 11-year-old girl in Horry County. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Trish Williford. Edward will be back at 11. Today, we obtained indictment files for the suspects in the Kyrie Bell case. News 13, Shelby Martin is live tonight outside the Horry County Courthouse. And Shelby, what did you learn from the documents?
Well, Trish, today we learned that around the time leading up to her death, 11-year-old Kyrie Bell was pulled out of public school and homeschooled. Now, 15th Circuit Solicitor Jimmy Richardson says that's an important aspect of this case. Solicitor Richardson says if Kyrie Bell had been around mandated reporters, someone may have noticed the abuse she suffered.
Certainly, there's a much better percentage that a teacher or a coach would notice something going on if they are in school than if they're not in school. Get a lot of referrals that way. So it's referrals that you don't get when they're not in school.
Kyrie died on June 13th in a Carolina Forest hospital. The little girl was from Texas and was in the care of a distant cousin, Kamish McGaskey. Last week, at a grand jury indictment, jurors presented that McGaskey killed Kyrie with malice through blunt force trauma to the head on or around June 11th. McGaskey was indicted on 3 counts of unlawful neglect towards a child and 1 count of obstruction of justice. Authorities say she knowingly put Kyrie through an unreasonable risk of harm. It wasn't long until several other adults in Kyrie's orbit were also charged in connection with her abuse, and authorities opened a human trafficking investigation.
The murder came through first, and certainly that was the most pressing. And then as the law enforcement agencies continued to investigate, that's when you had the human trafficking charges. And that, as that investigation led on, it turned into unlawful conduct toward a child.
Both McGaskey and Margaret Robertson are accused of conspiring to traffic Kyrie and 4 other children in their care, forcing them to do cleaning jobs. McGaskey faces 2 charges of criminal conspiracy. Robertson faces 1. Both face 5 charges of trafficking children under 18. 4 others, Alexandria Thomas, Atlantis Thomas, Darnell DeArmas, and Lakeisha Burnett, all face charges of unlawful conduct towards a child. Richardson says they were aware of Kyrie's abuse, but did not stop it.
It has more to do with that than it does with whether or not the carpet was shampooed or whether or not there was litter around the house. That comes up on a lot of unlawful conduct, but this really isn't that.
Now, Richardson says the murder and human trafficking of Kyrie Bell is the biggest case the 15th Circuit Solicitor's Office is currently working on. Besides Robertson and McGaskey, the remaining 4 suspects are still awaiting indictment. Reporting live in Conway, Shelby Martin, News 13.